I'm now going to do one of my favorite reactions. It's not very spectacular, but I think it's very satisfying. It's the reaction between hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate. Let's begin with a bit of water. So I'll add some potassium permanganate, which gives it a nice pinkish purple colour. You've probably heard me saying already that my grandfather used to put permanganate in his goldfish tank so the fish would swim round in purple water. Didn't seem to do them any harm. We now add a little bit of sulfuric acid. The acid doesn't change the colour at all. So you can see now we've got some nice purple potassium permanganate, and now we will take some hydrogen peroxide. Sam had a big bottle that she needs to be used up, and we'll add it and see if we can see anything happening. So watch carefully. I think it may be flat. I'll try another bottle. I'll get some of my own hydrogen peroxide instead.
Gone flat?
Yes. Well, hydrogen peroxide can decompose into oxygen and water. And if you keep it too long, it goes off. So I get some more. So we got some more. There isn't very much of it, but perhaps this will be enough. I'm not very impressed, are you?
It's not the best thing I've seen.
Hydrogen peroxide has the formula H2O2, and it has quite a strange structure. This is a model that I use for the students. I'm sorry, the atoms are all the same colour, but you imagine this one and that one, the ones I'm holding with my hands, are hydrogens, and the two black ones are oxygen. And the important thing is you can see it has quite short hydrogen-oxygen bonds and a very long oxygen-oxygen bond, which is weak and breaks very easily, which is what makes hydrogen peroxide so reactive. It also has this rather strange structure that this bond is at right angles to that one. If I hold it up, this one is horizontal and that one is vertical. And so it has a rather strange symmetrical structure. I once hit myself very hard on the nose while demonstrating this in a lecture. So you have a long oxygen-oxygen bond that makes hydrogen peroxide very reactive. Pure hydrogen peroxide will set fire to almost all organic matter. So if you put it on a piece of cloth, whoosh, it goes up in flames. So normally people use hydrogen peroxide as a dilute solution. And here you can see we have one solution which is called 40 volume, which means 1 litre of liquid gives 40 litres of oxygen gas if it decomposes. And this sample here, which you can see has more aggressive warnings, a bit more dangerous, this is 100 volume. And so the hydrogen peroxide that you buy in the chemists for bleaching your hair is much weaker. It may only be 5 or 10 volumes. So this is 10 times stronger. You wouldn't bleach your hair with this. It might go up in smoke. Trying again, this time I hope a bit better. I put warm water in here so the reaction may be faster. And I'll put in most of the acid as well. Then a bit of permanganate. And now that we've got enough peroxide still left, you can see it's decolorizing straight away. That's pretty cool.
What's going on there, man?
So what's happened now, I didn't wash the thing out properly, and we had some peroxide left. And now it's reacting faster than we can add the permanganate. So this is actually much better than I intended, because I was going to make it purple and make it go clear. And here you can see I'm pouring in a purple solution, and it's disappearing.
That's brilliant.
And you can see it's releasing oxygen from the hydrogen peroxide. So when it hits the surface, the manganese, which is bound to oxygen in permanganate, reacts and loses its oxygen and forms manganese ions, manganese 2+ for those of you chemists, which are completely colorless. So it goes from this very intensely colored salt to the colorless one. So it's like magic, isn't it?
You have to remember this trick.
Yes.
Lovely. This wasn't what you wanted to show us.
No, but it's even better. I now have to explain to the technicians why I've used a whole bottle of permanganate solution.
Stage, Martyn Poliakoff and Jeff Hayward. Perfect example of failing and trying again.
Yes. So do you want me to start?
Well, if you grab a seat for the moment, and we'll ask you a question or two, and then I think, Jeff, you're going to present some slides.
Yeah.
Have you got some slides as well?
Yes.
Martyn?
Yeah.
Great, okay. But first of all, I mean, that's a video that appears on YouTube. Who is the target audience for that, and how many other videos do you have in that vein?
Well, there isn't a target audience. People who are interested in chemistry. The answer to the other question, we have 454. And so this was video about 445. So it's been up for, I don't know, less than 2 months. And it's had 162,000 views, which is quite reasonable. So
Go on, you go ahead then.
Fine.
Show your slide.
So I should begin by saying that in my worst nightmares, I could not have imagined addressing a conference at Google. So it's
Thank you for that.
So this is quite an interesting experience. And so I'm talking about a website that's called Periodic Table of Videos, which is was created by video journalist Brady Harron. And the website is a periodic table. I hope most of you know what it is. There's part of it on my tie. And the idea is that you click on one of the elements. The laser pointer doesn't work, and I might blind my co-presenter. You click on an element, say hydrogen, and you get a video about hydrogen. There are videos on all 118 elements. And so, for example, here is the hydrogen video. And you see an explosion. And when I made the slide, which was on Tuesday, we had 28.4 million viewers and 135,000 subscribers. The subscribers have gone up by 1,000 and the views by 300,000. And the other thing which is quite important for those of you who are not scientists, science is the top journal in the field of science, and we've got a paper in there. We won a prize for online resources last year. And so we have done all sorts of things to try and assess impact, and I'm not going to give you all sorts of statistics, but I'm just going to show you some pictures. And this is a picture of a boy called Eddie, who at the time the photo was taken was aged 11. He lives in Arkansas. His mother is single, divorced, unemployed, and wrote to us to say Christmas was coming up. She didn't have any money. Could we send a signed photo of our team to Eddie? And so here is a picture of Eddie about to open his Christmas present. And here he is looking at it. And I feel that this, unless the mother is a real sadist, this was really true. And just to give you one other example, this is part of an email I got from about an Italian boy called Eduardo, saying, I'm mother of a 9-year-old boy, Eduardo Brandieri, and the last year has become a real fan of yours and your team. She then says that they have to limit the amount of time he spends on the internet because he watches our website all the time. And then she wrote, on 12th of September, he'll be turning 10, and I thought of surprising him by trying to organize a short visit to the University of Nottingham. And here is Eduardo in our lab with my colleague Pete Licence, having liquid nitrogen demonstrated to him. And he gave me a card which says, "To my friend Martyn, thank you for teaching me everything I know about chemistry." And I felt, tears welled up, and I felt it's things like that make it worthwhile. I would never have thought that a 10-year-old Italian boy would get so excited about chemistry from watching our videos. I should say that Brady is an extraordinarily talented video journalist, and he has a whole series of YouTube channels based at our university. There's one called Test Tube, based on general science, one called Bible Decks, about every book in the Bible. Imagine making a video about all 55 books in the Bible and getting people to watch them. And then 60 symbols on physics and so on. And several of his videos, particularly in the one called Number File that's called Maths, have got more than 100 million views. His most popular video is one which explains to you why, when you upload a YouTube video, the number of viewers goes up and then sticks at between 300 and 310. And that was watched by 1 million people in less than a month. And so do ask lots of questions. That's why I've come. Thank you.
Thank you, Martyn. Brilliant.